This is the Get Back With Dombek podcast. I'm Andrew Dombek, your host. We are sponsored by AID Performance Physical Therapy. Today's guest is a professional soccer star for the Loudoun United. He is from Ashburn, Virginia, where he starred on both the soccer and football teams at Broad Run High School. I've known this guy for many years, and he's astonishing in what he's overcome. Again, I've used some of these words with other guests, but again, resiliency, dedication, faith, and hard work. Let's welcome Samson Sergi and let him give us his story.
Well, thanks for having me. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff on social media about the studio, about your podcast and stuff like that. So thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm excited to be home, man. It's been an unreal feeling to be able to come home and play professional soccer. As a kid, just growing up, there was never a professional team here other than DC United, and that was always my goal to play at that level. And to come back and do it with the people that really made it happen from a young age is something that's pretty rewarding and pretty special. So, yeah, I'm excited to be back and excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to check you out on the field when you get back out there. I know you got a little injury. What's going on? You came in with a boot.
Yeah, it's pretty ironic, actually. I mean, I had a pretty good start to the year. I was excited, and then a few weeks ago I busted up my foot a little bit, so I'm out for a little bit. But, again, like you were saying, resiliency, faith, overcoming it only makes me a better player and grow as a human being as well.
So tell me, I've followed your career from high school and college, and you went out to New Mexico, and now you're back at Loudoun. But tell me the journey. Where did it all start? How'd you get into soccer? How'd you wind up at Xavier? Tell me from the beginning.
Wow, it's funny that now that I'm playing for Loudoun United, a professional team where I grew up, I mean, I started playing soccer 5 minutes from our home stadium, and a lot of that has to do with my dad. He played soccer at college, so it was pretty natural. As a young kid, I was always going to have a ball at my feet. I always wanted to play ball, but from a young age, I played a bunch of sports. It wasn't just soccer. I loved football. I loved baseball, soccer, basketball. Honestly, after I'm done playing soccer, I will be playing a lot of basketball rather than soccer because I think I like that playing pickup more than that. But anyway, from a young age, I always had a ball at my feet, and I always wanted to be a professional athlete from a young age. Just always seeing the high standard that my dad and my mom set from being collegiate athletes, from almost making a run at the Olympics and at the professional level as well. So kind of had that in my DNA as a motivational source. But I grew up playing for the local club here at Loudoun. Played 5 minutes from the stadium now, and it was just a passion of mine. With all the stuff going on, from school to family to friends, soccer was always my release, and I really had a heart and passion for it. Getting to high school, I was never the big time recruit. I was never the guy that was a 5-star getting calls from all the best ACC schools in the country. I mean, I was 5'5" until my junior year of high school. So I was always the little guy. I was always the guy that had to prove the coach wrong and just fight and scrap for any minutes in the field I can get. So actually heading into my senior year, I had 0 Division I offers, 0 Division II offers, and 0 Division III offers. So I had a chip on my shoulder. But it's funny you bring up football because football, my junior year, was something I had no pressure doing, right? I knew I didn't want to play football in college per se at the start. I knew I didn't. I cared a lot about it. I cared a lot about the school. I cared about the guys, but I had so much going on with soccer, and I wanted to play at the collegiate level, but didn't really look like it was going to happen. So playing football, I mean, having no stress of the future on me, it actually was a great release, and that kind of showed me like my passion for sports and helped me on the soccer field, knowing that I had some confidence coming from actually being a pretty good kicker. So transferring to senior year, I made a commitment as a family to travel to Bethesda, Maryland every day, 2-hour commute after school to join one of the top soccer academies on the East Coast. And through that, I shined enough to get a few opportunities to the next level, and transferring into Xavier to, at the time, was one of the best college soccer programs in Division I. So yeah, it was a great opportunity and something that I was really grateful for. But through that whole process, especially talking to you, is I never really had my biggest obstacle on the field or in the classroom or whatever. It was nothing to do with my body or whatever. It was I wasn't hitting the standard in coach's eyes of being good enough, and that was always my biggest trial, always my biggest tribulation, of just proving to a coach that I was good enough to play. So going into my senior year, I never really had anything that I really had to overcome. Nothing. I was always grateful enough to have food on the table. I was always grateful enough to have a great family, great support system. That was huge for me. And coming up into the end of my senior year, tragically losing Madison, one of my best friends on the planet, someone who I still think about all the time and always will, passes away, and something flipped in my head of just how much more to life there is than soccer. Because obviously I was so ingrained in my mind that I wanted to be a pro. I wanted to be a Division I athlete, and it consumed me. I wanted my reputation on the innermost of my being to have that standard of being a top athlete, a top college player. I wanted to see all my work pay off. So yeah, heading into my freshman year at Xavier, it was almost as if like I had this realization and just this experience of there's got to be something more to life than just soccer and sports and performing. I'm always going to have that pressure even today if I always have to hit the standard, I always have to perform, but there's got to be something more to it than just I'm going out there to play a game, and whether it's a death in the family, whether it's an injury. Injuries. Right now I can't play soccer. That's my only job. That's what I'm supposed to do, but I can't do it. So what's gonna be next for me? Through that I discovered my faith, which is now the most important thing in my life. Really recognizing who I want to be as a man through what I can do with a game of soccer rather than what it can do for me. So it's a really, I can talk about my story of how I became a professional athlete, but at the same time, I think the more important story is what the game has given me to make a difference in the lives around me. So.
Yeah, you poo-pooed your parents went to pretty big school, Penn State, the Penn State University. Your dad played soccer. That's not, kind of brushing in. And I know, knowing your mom and your dad, and it's funny, like even I think your dad kind of, I don't know, I remember a bet that you guys made, and he never thought they would have to pay off on that bet. Do you remember what the bet was?
How do you know about the bet? That's crazy, man.
You showed up to my clinic.
Oh, yeah.
In a shiny red Corvette.
Oh man, what a story that is. It's funny. My dad on his work computer has just a slideshow going of old pictures of overtime, and there's always a picture of me in that car, and I'm always just like, I can't believe that actually happened. Like, there's no way that actually went down. But yeah, the again, growing up, it was always I was more that underdog mentality. I always want to prove someone wrong, whether I was on the bench or whatever. I wasn't making a team. And every year since I was 8 years old in high school, there's this I don't know if it's the Washington Post, or it comes up with the All-Met team, which is the best players in the DMV based off of their high school soccer season. And every year since I was 8, when that list would come out, he would print it out and put it on my bed. And it'd be like, this guy's committed to Virginia Tech, this guy's committed to Duke, Stanford, wherever it is. He scored 30 goals. I'm like, man, wouldn't that be crazy if I did that? I mean, it was a tangible thing. And as I got older, my favorite car was a Corvette, so it only clicked. He's like, Sam, All-Met, if you make first team All-Met, I'll get you a Corvette. And it was, okay, Dad, yeah, let's get after it. It was always something I never in a million years actually thought he would follow through. As much as I believed I would make the team one day, I mean, to actually have that experience was honestly pretty wild. So yeah, my junior year, we won states. I made the team, and to be honest, I was just so ecstatic that I made that team. I went to downtown DC and had a big photo shoot. It was awesome. It was something I've been working for at the time probably 8-9 years. And the last thing I thought of was the Corvette, because I always knew in the back of my mind there's no way that's gonna happen. I was just more ecstatic that I made the team. So it was cool because after the year was over, we went to states. We won the state championship. Went on vacation after. Was enjoying the summer. I just decided to play for that team up in Maryland that I was talking about. It seemed like there was a light at the end of the tunnel in terms of my soccer career. And I came back from vacation to that car in the driveway, and it was the craziest thing. I mean, that had to be some of the craziest 10 minutes of my life, was actually like touching the car, getting in it, like, no way this is actually real. And then the minute I left the house to go to college, it was gone. So yeah.
I didn't know. I don't remember who told me, if you told me or your dad Steve told me about the car. I can't remember, but I was just like, how the hell is some 16-year-old driving this? I'm like, is that your dad's? Like, no, it's mine. I'm like, what?
It was my dad's. I wasn't paying the bills for that. It was my dad's. I was borrowing it.
You were borrowing it
for 10 months.
So I remember you went, I followed your mom, made lots of posts and stuff like that. Your freshman year wasn't so easy in college soccer. You didn't get to play much. What happened?
Yeah, so I redshirted, and again, all of my freshman year stuff, that goes back to the same story of every athlete on their timeline is going to hit a point where they're rethinking everything in terms of there's got to be something more than just playing the game of soccer, whether it's an injury or something with a family or whatever happens. We all hit that point where we're like, what are we doing? Like, this is like that you hit this barrier, this obstacle, and whether it's your first time or your second time, it's something that at the moment you don't think you can bear, don't think you can come through, but it's that moment when you get through it, you realize the journey was all worth it. So, yeah, my freshman year, I redshirted.
Didn't you get sick?
Yeah, not because I wanted to, but because of I was actually diagnosed with aflatoxin, which is exposure to black toxic mold. So, yeah, something that's pretty crazy, something that's pretty rare, but yeah, it was just all part of that little funnel of I just lost Madison. I was in a really bad state of mind. I was going to school 10 hours away, was leaving all my friends and my family and my journey. Like, there's a lot of change in my life. And then getting to school and just getting extremely sick where I couldn't even get out of bed, it was like the perfect storm to put me out of commission and to recognize like I need to get some serious help. So yeah, it was incredible because my parents at the time were 10 hours away. It's not an easy drive. All I could really tell them over text and over the phone is, Mom and Dad, there's something seriously wrong with me, and I've never really had that moment in my life where I'm like, I need help. Like, this is too much for me to bear by myself. And man, my mom was incredible. She came out, I mean, most weekends to take me to doctor's appointments just to figure out what the heck was wrong with me. Every test came back negative. Sam, you're fine. You just need to see a psychologist because I think you have some serious anxiety, depression, whatever it was. So the problem with that, though, was I knew there was something physically wrong with my body. And I remember getting ready for the start of the season, and I got a call from my dad that one of the tests for this black toxic mold came back positive. And he gave me two choices from talking to the doctors: is you either drop out of school and you come home and you get treatment, or you can go to a rehab facility for 2 weeks, and if they work some miracle in your life, you can maybe come back to school. So again, it put everything into perspective. Do I really just throw in the towel and call it quits at Xavier and go home and get treatment after 18 years of work to get there in the first place, or do I take a chance and go to a rehab facility for 2 weeks and put IVs in my body and try and get this thing done? So I chose the rehab route of going to Kansas for 2 weeks. My mom flew over there with me and picked me up from Xavier, and we were on our way. And again, one of the biggest blessings in disguise in that moment of checking into the facility in Wichita, Kansas was I'm sitting there with an IV in my arm a few weeks before the team's supposed to play a game, and a moment I've been working for my whole life, and I'm sitting here in a hospital with an IV in my arm of a machine cleansing my blood, and I'm thousands of miles away from all my best friends. I just lost one of my best friends. I everything was put in perspective for me. I mean, soccer was not even a thought at the moment. I didn't know if I would ever be able to play again. My dad, a few days before I left, had a heart attack. So my mind was just spinning of like, Sam, what's the most important thing in your life? Because if it's soccer, you can see at the snap of your fingers how quickly it could be taken away from you. I mean, there's got to be something more than just all this work you're doing to have a reputation of being a good soccer player. And it was at that moment where I'm like, I'm gonna give control over to something that's that I can't have myself at the center of my life. It's got to be something more, and that's where I really found my faith, giving the reins over to God and just letting Him be at the center of my life and letting Him take control and lead me to where He wanted me to be. And that's where that script flipped of how can I use soccer to make a difference in the community around me, make an impact on the kids and whatever it was. And it took all that pressure off of the perform aspect of my life. And coming off my redshirt year, I started gaining a lot of momentum of playing with confidence because it was no longer about me. It was playing for a bigger purpose.
Yeah, I mean, I hired a social media company, and they were like, what is the goal? And I want the clinic to be a driver so I can set up a charitable foundation, because I feel giving back. I volunteer at the high school. On the football team, I'm there Friday nights, rain, sleet, snow. I'm come in on Saturdays, not because I'm getting paid. It's because I love helping the kids and I want to help them achieve their goals. But there's more to that. But so that was an awesome story. I knew that your dad had a heart attack. I didn't know the timing of it. And your dad was a fit guy too. I mean, it happened on a basketball court. And so after your freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, you had huge year. Tell me about your senior year. You had some accomplishments.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it was funny because you're right. It was on a basketball court that all happened to him, and he was a really fit guy. And again, it just put life into perspective for me. But my senior year of college, I would even backtrack to my junior year and my sophomore year, which set up my senior year, which was, I mean, beyond the game. I was there for a pretty long time, and from after that jump of freshman year of like my life of whether I'd be able to play soccer again and gaining momentum and confidence of being able to play at this level it was a tough transition for me. It wasn't clicking for me at first. I went through the whole, am I good enough to play here, and that whole spiel, and it wasn't until my sophomore year where things started to click, because I was getting along with my teammates a lot better. I had a great relationship with my teammates. We had a great off season. I learned how to actually play my position well enough to get on the field, and a lot of different culminations of just all I needed to do at my position. I'm judged by really one thing, is that I can put the ball in the back of the net. That's really my only job, to score goals, to help my team win. So I knew I just needed to get one goal, and the momentum would start going. So my sophomore year, when I scored my first goal with my teammates, that was probably the best team I've ever been on at Xavier. And yeah, just the momentum started rolling. My guys started carrying me, and we started to have a lot of success. And I just figured out from that moment of just finding the right relationships with my teammates and getting me in the best positions to do my job. So through that sophomore class that we had, we were a very tight-knit group. We knew what we wanted. We worked tirelessly together in the off seasons to set up success. And for my senior year, I knew from an attacking standpoint, especially, we had some really good players, and it was hard to game plan for all of us. So I knew we were all going to have we all put the work in to have good years, and of course on paper I had a pretty decent year of scoring a few goals, but there was just something special about that year as well off the field of just, again, I'm a big believer if a team clicks off the field and the guys love each other and they believe in what the coach is saying, they believe in the mission of the program, it's inevitable that the team's going to do well. So everything was clicking so well in the off season, and unfortunately one of our best players got hurt in some freak accident in the game, and he was done for the year. So we struggled as a team, which was tough, but it did set me up for the next level, which was cool.
Yeah, I think you finished, fourth all-time scoring?
Yeah, fourth.
Fourth, yeah. I know you don't like to brag. I'll talk about your compliments. First team all Big East, and then third team academic All-American. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's pretty good. We've interviewed my niece and my nephew were both college athletes, and my niece went to Cornell. Not an easy academic school, but graduated. To be able to play a sport at Division I, it's a full-time job, and then not to mention to be able to make academic All-American. That's not small accomplishment, because you got lots of training to do in the off season. During the season, travel. It's especially Xavier in the Big East was probably spread out all over, a lot of travel time. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So let's fast forward now. You're with Loudoun United. How's the team doing this year?
That's an interesting question, because if you were to Google our record, you would think, wow, this team's having an awful year. But I can honestly say this is probably the best group of players that I've ever been around in my life. A lot of young talent, guys that are signing with DC United that are foregoing their college years because they're good enough to play right now in MLS, which is awesome. But that's the thing, is we're so young. Every game, the margin for error in this league at this level is so thin. You switch off for 30 seconds, the other team's going to score. So as young as we are, we're still figuring out how to win. And the tough part for us as, I guess, older players, even though this is my second year, is it's a 32-game season. We're still in the very beginning of it. Every day, you would think of most locker rooms at 2-8 would be devastated. They'd be crushed. They would be freaking out. They'd be in fight or flight mode. The coach would probably be on the hot seat, whatever. No, it's the total opposite. You would come into our film sessions and you would think, wow, this is the last team anyone in our league would want to play. So, yeah, I'm the whole club has full confidence in every single person in the room to do their job. We know it's just the matter of time before we break through and find that stride. And again, at this level, you get one win, you get that one breakthrough moment, you're going to start rolling. So, yeah. But even beyond that, again, beyond football, beyond soccer, it's the guys in the locker room. I mean, I've known these guys for a couple months now, and they're already really good friends of mine. I really love hanging out with them off the field, and it's cool to grow up here and show them around to where I grew up, what kind of shaped me into the man that I am, and having them over for dinner with my family, and it's cool. It's cool for my family to be so close to the experience, because for so long now it's always been they fly out for a weekend, watch me play, meet a couple of my teammates, and they'll see me at Christmas. So that's definitely been a really rewarding aspect of it all too.
Now, both the teams that you've played on are like relatively new franchises, right?
Yeah. New Mexico started in 2018. Loudoun was 2019.
Yeah, so it's tough. I mean, how long have some of the other clubs been in existence?
A lot longer than that, yeah. I mean, it's but again, New Mexico now is one of the top teams in the league, and they have been really since they entered 2 years ago. So it's really about the margin for error again in this league is so thin. The difference between teams is very minor. Even a team at the bottom of the table versus the top, there's very rarely going to be a game that's 4 or 5-0. It's always going to be 1-0, 2-1, whatever it is. So it's different guys in the mix all the time. You know, it's the difference is that veteran leadership. If you have a guy at the top that has experience of winning this league, the rest of the guys follow.
Now, soccer, I've seen that. You know, I don't know what style. I haven't been out to see you guys play yet, but I know, like, my daughter's team, they possession type of soccer game, and they can possess the ball 90% of the time and then just make one mistake and lose a game 1-0. You know, the score doesn't show how the game went. It's just someone happened to make one bad pass and someone's wide open, and, you know, the goalie's left out to dry, and, you know, they bury a shot. So I completely understand how you could definitely be. It's like you said, in college, it just needed that one goal. So now it's a matter of, hey, we get one win, then we can get 2 wins. We can string them together. So I hope the best for the guys. And
thank you.
Hopefully we get you back on the field so I can see you in person again. Have you played against any guys from college?
Yeah, for sure. And especially with the Big East, there's so many talented guys from schools like Creighton, Georgetown just won the national championship last year. So, I mean, there's so many good players that all around the league. And the USL, it's set up now like the MLB, right? The MLS is like MLB. The league I'm in now is like AAA. League One is AA, so on and so forth. So, at this level, being AAA is as you would think of it, guys are really just looking for their chance to break through to that next level. We're all on the same mission, right? So coming out of college, with the draft especially, is very rarely are you getting drafted and going straight to the MLS and you're playing right away. Just like baseball, right? You're going to come through the minor league system. So it's a lot of college guys out of their first and second years who especially performed at the college level in this league. So playing against guys from Georgetown, Creighton, Villanova, Seton Hall, guys that it's funny because we went toe-to-toe in college, and now we just have different uniforms on and going at it at the professional level, which is cool. And it's different because in college after games it was a really like a true rivalry. We didn't really like each other. It was different. But now after a professional game, even if you kind of knew someone or whatever, it's just a mutual respecting of all the best, man. I hope you get like what your goal is, and that's obviously to get to the next level and beyond.
So tell me, what advice do you have for those young athletes listening, trying to overcome challenges or injuries, or they want to follow, play Division I?
Great question. Yeah, I mean, I get that pretty frequently, and, I as much as I want to say grind as hard as you can, be the last one in the gym, whatever it is, which are all good things, the thing that I found the most successful thing in my life has been kind of what we've been talking about a little bit too, is there's got to be something more than the game. Because the game's going to go up and down. You're going to have some incredible highs. You're going to have some incredible feelings. But also on the flip side, you're probably going to get hurt. You're probably going to have some obstacles that happen personally off the field or whatever it may be. And there's got to be something off the field that has nothing to do with really the game itself that keeps you grounded. There's got to be something, I call it my why, right? Like, Sam, why are you getting up at 6 a.m. to go work out that you're going to work out so hard that you're going to throw up? Like, that doesn't sound fun, but I know at the end of the day why I'm doing it. One, I want to be the best player that I can possibly be, and two, I want to reach the next generation and be a light for the kingdom. So knowing that in my mind every day is whether I'm hurt for a few weeks, few months, or I'm done for the year, or I'm in a hospital bed in Kansas. I know what my why is, and I know that's gonna triumph any obstacle that comes in between myself and the game. So that'd be my first piece of advice. Secondly, is you gotta enjoy every single moment that you can, because again, you never know when the game could end. You never know when something crazy could happen in your life or whatever, and it's the people that make the whole experience. Whether you're at the professional level or whether you're playing for your local house league soccer team. I mean, looking back at it, I mean, even the early years of my college, I don't really remember too much about my stats or some crazy games that we had. I think of the amazing memories I had running suicides in practice with my roommates, and the stories we can tell on the weekend or whatever it was, that's what those memories are what's going to carry you through. Not so much the game. And 3 is to take care of your body as much as you can. I rarely did anything for recovery or activation or whatever growing up, and it wasn't until really college where I tore my hamstring and I was out for a while, and I learned how important it is to stay healthy. And it might sound so simple, but especially at this level, I mean, you get hurt for a few months, so it's just the next man up. Next man gets his chance, and he could get the next contract, and there you have it. It's over. So the healthier you can stay, the more you can put and invest in your body, you're going to have more opportunities to get in the gym. You're going to have more opportunities to get some extra runs in and get some extra training and truly know your role and your craft in the team.
So are there any holes in your game that you need to fill in order, do you think, that'll get you to that, besides staying on the field and being healthy?
Stay on the field, being healthy. Yeah, man. I mean, I think that's the beauty of this level is there's endless resources for me to tap into to fix the holes in my game, and a lot of it too is the video standpoint of watching the best players in the world at my position and what they're doing that got them there, and what I can do to implement into this club and this team to make them better. I think for me, from a tactical perspective, again, with one of my main jobs being to score goals and do that, it's my movement. In the final third, it's hard actions. It's being able to be fit enough to play 90 minutes and still make a run in the 88th minute to make a breakthrough moment for my team. But yeah, I especially this year when we're so close to being a great team and one of the best teams in this league, we're just looking for execution. We're looking for that breakthrough winning play. And the more of those I can make, I know the longer I'll be in this league and the longer I'll have a career in this.
I mean, it's a great attitude, going back to saying, hey, I'm playing a game. That's my job. Is every day I get to wake up. And I have to go to work. I get to go to work, and I get to go play soccer. I get to play a game for a living. I get to be paid for that. And then I can, like you said, use soccer as a platform for moving forward. That's very mature of you to be able to visualize and see that come to fruition. So I got another soccer question, and then we're going to deviate. I think it was yesterday, a 15-year-old girl made her pro debut for the Portland Thorns.
I saw that, yeah.
What do you think about that? That young.
Yeah, I mean,
in the women's game. I mean, women, mature physically.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I see it in a variety of ways. But my immediate reaction, especially talking with some of my teammates in the game, in my family or whatever, soccer's growing in this country. We're placing a very high emphasis on the development of our youth players, and that's exciting from that standpoint because you can see already from both national teams. We're having great players who grew up here who are playing in some of the best leagues in Europe and in some of the best divisions in that country. I mean, it's pretty crazy. And to see players who are ready to compete at the professional level at 15 years old, I mean, how cool is that? And that's the beauty of it too. If she's ready, she's ready. I mean, at 15, at this level, it's we're in the business of winning games. That's it. So if she's ready to help her club do that at 15, I think that's incredible.
I was watching on Instagram a reel of Christian Pulisic, who's one of those guys that first American to win the Premier League, hoist the trophy, and then came back and helped U.S. win the CONCACAF. But I saw a reel of him yesterday or the day before. He was out fishing, deep sea fishing. I don't know what they caught. Did you see that? I don't know what they caught. Some big ass fish, and he's sitting there juggling the soccer ball over. Then he fell in on top of that. It was just kind of talking about that, just kind of made me smile and remember that. All right, so tell me, what's your jersey number?
24.
24. What's so special about that number?
Man, so many things. I love that question because, 24 is not really a normal soccer number. So sometimes reporters or people who are following the club is like, my position is usually you're wearing the number 9, number 10, number 11, or whatever it is. It's another opportunity to share more about my life, a more opportunity to remind myself. I get to wake up this morning and I have another 24 hours to do what I love and to make a difference and live out my why. So, of course, like we were talking about earlier, one of my best friends in the entire world, senior year, passed away, and she was wearing number 24. And again, I love this because you guys know Broad Run. You guys are very connected there. Before our games, our state championship year, softball would always play before us. And my buddies and I, as JV soccer was playing before warm-ups, we'd always go sit at the third base bleachers and to watch Madison. And obviously she was wearing the number 24, but she, as close as we were, she was one of my best friends on the planet. She was so locked in and so intense and so fierce and just had this tenacity every single game. And every time I put the jersey on, I think of the moments where I sat there and we're all joking around. We're all trying to get her to laugh. We're trying to make it known that we're watching her play. And she did not care at all. All she cared about one thing, that was winning, and that was just having a time and doing her job. So I carry so many things that she's taught me, but most importantly is just every time I get to put on that jersey, and now playing in a stadium that's 5 minutes away from our neighborhood, so her parents can come to some games, and it's just it's a special thing, man. I think when I scored my first professional goal a few weeks back, every single picture that was taken of me by all the guys taking pictures there was always from the back where it just said Sergi 24. And I just think of that moment. It's like I know she would have been right there watching that all go down. It means so many things. But again, going back, kind of what I've been saying is when I wake up, you're right. I get to go to practice today, right? I get another 24 hours to make a difference, to live out what I want to do today, and it's just always a good reminder of just her smile, and it's just always something that a moment that, at the time it was so tragic and so sad, but more now it's just, I just want to make her proud in everything I do. So
yeah, I was fortunate enough to know Madison and help her work through a bunch of her injuries with her shoulder, and gotten to know, I love her dad Tim and Rachel, and her brother and sister are great, and they're still huge supporters of Broad Run. Tell me a little bit about the Madison Small Foundation. What do you know about their foundation? What they got going on coming up?
Yeah, I was thinking, wait, oh my goodness, yeah. The golf tournament they have every year is, man, I haven't been able to come the last few years just because my team has me at Xavier. Unfortunately, we always had something going on that weekend, but I always knew coming back, it's what keeps that community together. My family still goes it every year, and if I can't make it, I'm getting pictures of people that I may only see once a year, and it's that tournament. And I'm excited to come by this year, being 5 minutes from 1757. Again, it's the people, man. It's the people that make it. And every time I come there, I'm seeing people that meant so much to me, meant so much to her, and we have something really big in common. That's just we want to remember her, all the memories that we had, and having a great time doing it, just like she would. Yeah,
I think there's still. I know Troy knows about. I think there's still some foursomes available and some stuff like that. I think if you.
Yeah, you got to go out and sign up. I have nothing but smiles, some laugh. Maybe I mean, a couple of tears I've shed over the years, but it's more of just, I mean, you're with people. I mean, the closest people to me really on the planet, I know I'm gonna see there, and it's always an incredible time.
So let's wrap up. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience before we close this out?
No, I think we hit it. Thanks for having me on, and again, I think it's cool for me to be back in an area where I'm living a dream that I've wanted since I was born here, and I get to experience with my friends, my family, and this community that set me up to make this even happen. So I'm excited to do what I love for a living, of course, like you were saying. But what makes this so special to me is this community means so much to me, and the people here who drove me to practice, who had me over for dinner when my parents were out of town, or whatever it was. I wouldn't be here without all of those people, and the list is crazy to name. I actually, some of my family friends who were a part of some of my first teams that I ever touched a soccer ball on, all of their parents came out to watch me play last week, and unfortunately I couldn't play because I'm hurt, but I got to watch the game sitting next to them, and there's probably 10 to 12 of them, and it was that full circle moment of I got to look every single one in the eyes, and they thought it was so cool. Yeah, I wish you were playing. You're playing professional soccer. I mean, I remember we were practicing right across the street right there, and I got to look at every single one of them in the eye and said, thank you for one, being like a second mom, second dad to me, and for making this all possible. So if you're listening to this and you've been a part of my journey, I can't thank you enough, and I'm extremely grateful.
I forgot to ask you one other question. I like to ask this. Who's the best athlete in the Sergi family?
Mary Sergi, no question. It's not even a question. If you don't believe me, go on her social media. It's not even close. Alabama. Yeah,
Alabama.
Roll Tide. I'm excited to watch some football games this year. Hopefully she can get me some tickets, but yeah.
Yeah, she should as a cheerleader.
Your little sister's
No, I mean, even talking about it right now, it freaks me out. But that's another cool thing. I mean, I get to see her every day. I get to see the young woman that she's become, cooking her own meals, doing her laundry. Like, it's just weird, man. Like, I feel like I'm so young because I'm in Ashburn, and I feel like I drive by Broad Run every day. I'm like, oh, man, I'm still in high school or whatever. And then I come home, and my sister's getting ready to go to college in a few weeks, and my brother's going to be a sophomore, and I'm just sitting here like, how is this happening, But the second best athlete in our family is my brother. I mean, you can throw the ball.
I think your mom's going to have some questions about all this. Your mom's quite the athlete.
Yeah, she's third. She's third. I'm fourth. Dad's fifth.
Dad can hit a pretty good golf ball.
Yeah, he can hit a golf ball pretty far. But Mason can throw down a basketball. My dad and I can never do that in a million years. So yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I think we learned a lot. I reached out to your mom, I think first and foremost to get your latest information. So we lost contact over the years, and it's like, hey, do you think Sam would want to be on this? I'd love to hear his story. It's, super inspiring. She's like, oh my God, yes. She didn't even ask you. She's like, yes, he'll be there.
Of course, man. I mean, because again, like this is what it's all about. I mean, I love sharing my story. I love to share how my life changed. I love to share about anything I can give to the people listening or the people who are going to read an article in the paper, or whatever it is. Of anything I can do to inspire the next generation and to be an influence. And I mean, good to see you guys. I mean, I've probably haven't seen you guys in 5-6 years. I think that's pretty special too.
Yeah, well, we hope you get back on the field soon. Try and get some magic into that toe. A little faith, get you back out there.
Yeah,
suck it up, princess.
Yeah, exactly.
Which toe is it?
Unfortunately, the big toe.
Yeah, you can't cut that one.
Nah, I can't.
Nah.
That's necessary to do my job. Yeah.
Balance, kick, push off, run. Yeah.
He cut
Yeah,
off
the
his
pin-
pinky or
he
something.
came back and said he regretted that
Oh, I'm sure.
after, but at the time,
Yeah. But Sammy, you're living it out. You are an inspiration to many. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
hats off to you, bro.
Yep.
Thank
Thanks, man. Thank you.